So for me and for Bernie, golf started on a golf course. You know, we would go to driving ranges and we would have lessons. We would go there more in the winter time because it was sheltered. It was sheltered from the rain. There was obviously floodlit as well, so that helped with those dark evenings. Well, over the years, the driving ranges have changed, and they've kind of changed the way we play golf, and not necessarily golfers that have started on golf courses, but for lots of people coming into the game of golf. If you kind of look behind me, you can see TrackMan. Now TrackMan have put in ranges, Topgolf have put in ranges. There have been loads of these companies that have come in and created a facility that is enjoyable. It's fast paced, it gets people to the range to learn how to play the game of golf. Well, today we've come down to Plymouth Golf Centre and we're meeting up with a really good friend of mine. Now Sam Stephens and I went through kind of our PGA together. He was at Churston, we were both assistants there, and he's been doing amazing things here at Plymouth, and I thought today we'd come down here and catch up with him to see what he's been up to. So let's go and meet up with Sam. So tell me, you've been now at Plymouth Golf Centre for how many years have you been here?
6.5 years. Yep.
Before that you were involved in junior programmes, kind of outside of golf clubs, but more nationally, weren't you?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about
your
Golf Foundation. Tell me a little bit about your experiences from that. And
So yeah, I had 3 amazing years working for the Golf Foundation. Learnt a lot, travelled a hell of a lot around the country, experienced lots of different types of golf clubs, ranges, some doing it very well, some not so well. I just learnt a lot, really.
You had a vision, didn't you?
Yep.
You've always had this vision of what you've kind of wanted to achieve with your business, I suppose, and also help develop golf in a different way, not just the experience of what we had growing up at a golf club, but an experience of a golf range like this one. Just tell us what's happened here, how it's developed over time, because it's a fantastic facility to start with, and then you've kind of taken it to another level again with your academy here.
So I always liked the informalness of this place, if that's a word. I just like when you walk in, anyone can wear anything. There's music playing in the background in the shop. It's just very informal, welcoming for any age or ability, whether they've played before or not. So we really wanted to then have an academy where anyone could come in as a complete beginner, learn the game. We partner with local clubs where we then feed them into from an adult point of view, but also our children's academy that we take very seriously here. So we've got about 120 kids a week that come for coaching here, and we've had lots that have already moved on throughout the last few years into local clubs and now playing at a good level. So yeah, something I'm very passionate about is having new golfers in and progressing them.
And that starts, when you talk about the junior academy, that starts in the schools, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember you were always heading off to different schools up in the Torbay area where we were based. You were always heading into schools to try and get kids to obviously pick up the clubs for the first time and then bring them to the facility. Yeah. And that's kind of what you've done here to be able to get 120 kids through here every week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the bit that I love the most about it. It's actually taking children that don't have golfing families, that mums and dads don't play golf, and actually bringing them in and turning them into golfers. I'd probably say 80% of our kids are from families with no golfing background, and that for me is the biggest thrill of all of it, because historically I think we've always had an issue in golf where it really just was children and grandchildren of existing golfers, and it becomes a very small network of people then. As soon as you open it up to the schools and actually offer it as a part of the curriculum as opposed to an after school club, so it isn't a choice, they obviously have to experience it. We have so many children come from that who've never thought about playing golf before, experience it in a school environment, then they come somewhere like this which is very informal, especially for mums and dads who might have a perception of golf and think, I don't really want to take my child up to a golf club necessarily. Here it's completely different. It's informal, they can sit and have a coffee, they can watch, they can wear what they want. And for me that was the biggest attraction about working somewhere like this, is that gave me the venue to be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve.
What is the sort of thoughts when new parents come in and they watch their kids that have come out of school into this environment? Are they nervous with it? Do you have to go through a process of kind of explaining what golf is all about, and then questions moving into, well, what do we do now with our, when our kid gets to a certain level in golf, they want to go and experience golf clubs. How do we get our kids into golf clubs? Is that something you have to go through as well with them?
Yeah, that's almost one of the hardest bits, is actually educating mums and dads. So we encourage them to come in, certainly as a part of the school program. So they have 4 sessions in school, and then the 5th session they come here as a part of their after school club, and that's kind of the link, the really important afternoon when they come here. The mums and dads also come here then, and it's then educating mums and dads that it's really open, it's very affordable. We have equipment here for them, so they don't need their own equipment initially anyway, and then you find after a few weeks, months, that they perhaps purchase some equipment. But yeah, it's educating parents, it is a big part of it, and then nurturing them into golf clubs is a hard bit as well.
Would you say it's changed here over the years that you've been here with regards to how a range is enjoyed by people within golf?
Yeah, definitely. Initially it was just a driving range where you just rented some balls and hit them out on the outfield and then you went home. Obviously now we have a completely different offer with some the technology we've got here, and I don't think we could have imagined when we were 13, 14 having somewhere like this to come and play, playing 18 holes in a virtual golf course, that when you end your 18 holes you kind of feel like you've played. Obviously during the winter months that's unbelievable for a golfer to be able to do that, but aside from that, beginner golfers can come here and play 18 holes on some of the most famous courses in the world. Now I know it's not real golf, but as I said, when you've experienced it, it does feel like you've actually gone through the motions a bit and actually played these courses. So it's completely different. In the last sort of 18 months since we've made some upgrades and installed the technology, we've seen a completely different clientele come as well and experience it.
And talking about that technology, which I want to get onto in a minute with you,
Sure.
I want to experience it myself, because I have never experienced it on a range myself, so this would be quite enjoyable for me. But when I used to come, certainly when this first opened, and I used to come down here and warm up before a tournament or something like that, if it was in this area, it would be one person per bay.
Yep.
Just, as you said, renting balls, hitting balls out there. I walked in here earlier and there's 3 people in a bay and having a little game with each other in the bay.
Yep.
Again, are you seeing that as a shift? Is that what's happening with the tech that you've brought into it?
A lot more. So exactly right, you'd have one person per bay hitting their 100 balls. Now it's actually more likely that more than one person would be in a bay experiencing those games, and it's more fun with someone else, and it's fine playing on your own. But yeah, I mean, you could have yourself and 3 pals here playing, and you'd be amazed. You'd be have 2 hours and just go by like that, because you played a course, or you played a longest drive or nearest the pin, which we can look at. So yeah, definitely getting more of like a social experience as well. So it's actually the golf is one thing, but we have loads of young people come up as well, 3 or 4 of them together. Yeah, it's really good.
So TrackMan have arrived at Plymouth Golf Centre.
In a big way.
In a big way?
Big way.
I can see them because they're everywhere.
They are, yeah. 32 of them.
32 systems that have come into here. I mean, TrackMan alone, just putting in a TrackMan system into a golf shop, as in like into a practice bay of a coaching studio,
It's a big investment.
it's a massive investment
Yeah.
for an individual, for a golf coach or a head pro of a golf club. That must be a massive investment for a place like this.
Enormous investment, yeah. Yeah, it really is. But we travelled around, we saw some different places and just saw it in action and just see it as the future. And I think that if you flash forward 5 years, if you don't have something like this, I think you'd be left behind.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because we were up at the Belfry, and we were catching up with the head of the academy up there, Dan, and he was saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
If you've got a driving range as big as you've got here and as big as they got at the Belfry, obviously you went to college just up the road, so you know the Belfry, but if you're not got this system in, you're being left behind.
Exactly right, yeah.
And,
exactly right.
And it's the same down here, isn't it?
Yeah, the expectation will be that, I think, as I said, even now, to be honest, but in a few years' time, people will come, and if you don't have the tech, they'll sort of think, oh, you know, it's a bit underwhelming, really.
Yeah. So how does this work? Because I've never seen it. Like I said, I've never hit any balls. I've hit balls on a range, but never with this system. So how are you going to log us in and get us going on this?
Yeah, so one of the nice features is that you're able to log in using the TrackMan Golf app.
Okay.
Once you're logged in, all of your experience and your data and your golf that you've done during your session, when you go home, you'll have all that to look back on the app.
So if you came, let's say I didn't have my phone with me and I came down here and I still wanted to hit some balls, I could still log into the system, and
Absolutely.
as in I could still play a course or a
Definitely,
few
yeah.
games or practice.
It's just an added benefit.
It's an added benefit to be able to
take
take it home and keep hold of those sessions that you've had.
Exactly right, yeah.
Okay, well, let's go through it.
So once you've got the app up, then you just go on to quick login and then just hover it over the QR code.
Yeah.
And then it'll connect and it'll just come up with my name in the bottom corner. So once it's connected,
so you would register on the app first, go through that
exactly,
process?
Yeah. So you can log in and find all that information up on the top on the lid here. Yeah.
Okay.
So once you're logged in, so 3 obvious options. So practice, exactly what it says on the tin, but 2 options. So range practice, which then you'll then bring up a render of the driving range, which we felt was the best part of this as a product.
Wow,
is that what you're looking at on the screen is literally an exact render.
Yeah, it is.
So taken by sort of overhead footage, etc. So yeah, when you hit a shot, it obviously gives you immediate feedback. You can see what it's hit or where it's landed up on the screen.
Yeah.
So in terms of a couple of nice bits, so convert is the option. So if you're using range balls like we are here, if you press convert and then you select a club, it will factor in which club you've selected, and then it'll convert all your data using a premium ball data, but also taking the wind out of effect as well. So if it's a particularly windy day, it will actually nullify that and just give you better data.
No different than what a normal TrackMan does.
Exactly right.
And for those, I mean, I was going to ask it because I wasn't imagining to come down here and see Pro V1s all over the range.
Yep.
But ultimately, the system covers it.
It does, yeah. So you can view it from a sort of how you're viewing it here, or you can just see it from a vertical angle as well. So you've got 8 key data bits here, so height and ball speed and a few other nice bits as well. So it gives you a really good overview.
I mean, it gives you everything you would want to know, maybe apart from the actual path of the club by the look of that, but if you're just practicing and you're not focusing on actual path movements of the club, you've got your carry distance, your ball speed, your launch angles, you've got it covered, haven't you?
In path and face, they obviously kept that back for the TrackMan 4 boxes.
Yeah.
For coaching, so this is really more of a practice tool.
Yeah.
There's also practice on the course.
Okay.
So you can actually
Which is quite good.
Yeah, it's really good. So you can actually pick a hole, any hole on any of the courses we've got here. So if you particularly want to work on hitting fairways, obviously on a driving range which is very open, it's very hard to imagine a width of a fairway. I think we all maybe overestimate how big a fairway really is.
Yeah.
And then when you get on a hole on a course, it just gives you much better feedback, and then you just hit shot after shot from that one position. Or if you want to work on your iron play and hitting into a small green, you can do that. So yeah, that's a really nice feature. And again, you can do that on lots of the most famous courses in the world. So the next bit is games. So this is extremely popular with larger groups, but any ability, to be honest. We come out as a professional team and have games on this as well. So 4 cool games on there. Closest to the pin, exactly how it sounds. Bullseye is like a target challenge, which is using things on the driving range. Hit it's the longest drive one, okay, which is a good one.
Yeah.
Capture the flag is where, you know, one of you would win a flag and then the other person gets it near, they would capture it off you. So yeah, 4 really nice games to play there.
And these are obviously, you can play these between your friends that are in the bay with you. Can they compete internally along the range?
Not from bay to bay.
Okay.
Which is why we see so many times more than one person in the
Yeah.
bay. But for example, longest drive, hit it, which is probably the most popular one.
Yeah.
You can add up to 4 players in the bay.
Yeah.
And then you can obviously put your name in there. So I'm obviously logged in, so my name's pre-populated there.
Yeah.
And then you can just hit start game. And particularly if you're here with children, it's quite nice. It comes up with your name, and you can put emojis on it, and you know, all kind of fun stuff as well.
Almost a bit like tempting bowling.
Exactly right. Yeah. So once you're in, hit your shot, and then you hit 3 shots, and it picks your longest one. 3 rounds. Winner takes all. Third bit is the courses bit, which I think is probably the best bit. on there. So we've got about up to 70 courses we can choose from. As we change this on a weekly basis, so there's about 12 or so that are live at any one point. Some of them are ones that you would know if you're a golfer. Some Muirfield Village,
St Andrews,
the Golf Nationals on here as well. St George's Open venue. There's some other ones which. So there's one here which is a par 3 course, the Lost Nines. This is kind of like an ancient Egyptian, fictional course, which again is great for children or beginners or anyone, to be honest, as I said. So once you go into a course, so for example, if we pick Muirfield Village, so once you go in there, you can then again set up to 4 players in a bay. Again, you can set your handicaps. So anything up to a 54 handicap can go in there. And then, which is also quite nice, you can change the tees. So if you get someone perhaps who's a beginner with you, you start from a closer tee and then play your game. Get out on the course.
Are we having nearest the pin with driver?
No, I think we should have a longest drive competition.
I definitely want into this.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Long driving competition. I'm in.
Oh, you're in for this as well, Simon, are you? Right, okay. So have you just given up on the lesson up there?
The lesson can wait a little bit.
Okay, so you want it? You want in on this as well?
I do.
Okay, but the problem we've got, Sam, is Simon is left-handed.
He
is that a
left-handed.
problem?
Not at all. No. Trackman will pick up any shot hit from anywhere inside the bay.
Oh, Sam.
Oh, wow. Can we just tell everyone that we are borrowing this driver? This is a borrowed driver from Pete.
Pete's driver.
Pete, one of the other pros.
He doesn't
know we borrowed it.
Thanks, Pete.
Oh, little draw. Good, was good.
Well, I think a little award ceremony is required, isn't it?
What's my prize?
Yeah, I'm stunned by that, to be honest.
You are?
A little disappointed, actually, but yeah, well done, Lester.
Longest drive done. Happy to move on from that.
Very happy,
Happy to move on. St Andrews, 150th year. I know you're a big Open fan, aren't you? I mean, how many of you? You've been to a number of them over the years, haven't you?
A fair few. Lucky enough,
St Andrews, one of my favourites. Obviously, one of everybody's favourites. Can we play a hole at St Andrews?
Let's do it. I think we need to get on the first tee with the
open
with the
atmosphere. Clubhouse in the behind us there.
I think so. That sounds great.
People all gathering round. Perfect. Let's get on there. It's absolutely fine. It's like heading towards the 18th green. Or 18th.
Oh.
Settle down.
That might be okay.
No, it's going to be short.
It is, because
absolutely fine. At 229 carry going to 249. Similar yardage in. Well, I'll caddy for you. You've got 122 to the pin, sir.
I'm going to go for a gap wedge. I'm going to go 50-degree gap wedge.
And obviously, from this point of view, the angle is you're coming across, almost like coming across the hole if we were at St Andrews. But you would still aim at the yellow flag because that's the direct line?
So this bay is now targeted out to the yellow flag. So wherever I set my target on there, that is the yellow flag.
Oh, is it getting there?
It's got plenty of legs. I remember it feeds back down.
Oh, it's a great shot.
Right, 120, 114, Samuel. I've got 50 as well. It's telling me wedge. I think 50 is a good number.
Ooh, that was a bit skinny. I think that's still good though.
It's 114 yards. I hope that's good.
Yes, it is good. Oh, there we go. So based on our performance, it will now auto putt for us. So I got a par, 2 putt for par, 1 putt for a birdie for Dan. There you go.
So there it is. Well, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for the experience of what you've showed us today. And I think it is interesting how golf has changed, even in our lifetime, you know, with coming from golf courses to now ranges and how much fun that you can have just on a driving range.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for not a great deal of time.
Nope.
Actually, for probably half the time that you would spend on a golf course, you could come of as much fun on a round of golf at St Andrews. on a range.
It is excellent, yeah. So I think you've had a little sample of it today, but I mean, if you spend a couple of hours down here with four of you, four of your friends down here, yeah, you can have a great experience, have some laughs, obviously have a really good on-course, as near to without going on a course experience as well. So, no, I mean, these venues, I think, are here to stay 100%, and I feel are a bit more the future of golf as well.
Well, I have to agree with Sam there. I think these ranges are going to be staying and only getting better as technology improves and changes. And, I get this question asked to me a lot about, what can we do more to grow the game, Dan? How can we get more memberships? How can we go? Well, I think it starts right there, where we've just been today at Plymouth Golf Centre. It starts at places like that to help drive golf, to help bring people into the game who would never have ever started the game. And then it comes down to golf clubs. It comes down to places like here, Churston Golf Club, where committees need to get together. They need to figure out the best way they can attract people into the game, into their clubs, and then ultimately retain them. It was so good catching up with Sam, so good to see his dreams unfold and see it all there down at Plymouth with him now. And I think it just shows that, the way that this game of golf is going, it's only going in hopefully one direction, and that is up. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel and you like what you're seeing from these videos, hit that subscribe button. But I would like to hear what you have to say about this video. Are you somebody that just plays golf on a range, or are you somebody that focuses on the golf course? Down in the comments. We'll see you all again very soon.